Hey y'all, it's Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron, and I'm just here for the good news, honey. And we are back with another episode of Galactic Gossip. Yes, indeed. So this week we do have a few things going on, and we are going to be um, somewhat in our feelings, just a little bit, maybe a lot of bit. So let's just get into it. I have a list of things to discuss. So as we all know, yesterday we had the new moon in Pisces. And we still have that energy going on today. So just kind of briefly go over what happened. I wrote a blog about that. So on my website, I have a little snippet of it on my Instagram and my Twitter. So if y'all want to go check that out, please do so at House of Chiron TX. So my website, www.houseofchirontx.com. So, okay, this week, the Pisces new moon, the energy, I'm just going to read a little excerpt from my blog. Let me see if I can share this with y'all really quick. So, read this little thing. And we're talking about the new moon. So, with the new moon, we had, let me make this bigger. So, with the new moon, we had the new moon conjunct Mercury in Pisces, right? And it was Mercury in retrograde. New moon it was sextiling Mars in Capricorn, also making a conjunction with the South Node. The new moon sextile Uranus in Taurus, and the new moon was making a trine to the North Node in Cancer, right? So, of course, new moon, we were setting our intentions yesterday. We can still do so today because we still have a lot of that energy going on. It lasts. I like to give the motto for new moons and full moons 3 days before and 3 days after the actual date. You can still feel the energy. So with the Mercury retrograde in Pisces aspect that it's making, that was what's bringing all these delays in communications. And it's also helping us get into our introverted selves, go inward to assess some things and figure out what's actually happening and what needs to happen. What is happening internally and why things are manifesting in the ways they are externally, right? So Mercury, it rules the nervous system, it rules the brain, the thought process. It's the ruler of the third house of communication, short distance travel. So it also rules commerce and transport. So all of these things being in retrograde, we're all in like right now a review for what's happening right now. And it's asking us to like dive deep and figure out what it is that we want. It's not a time to be indecisive. So right now it's a time to reflect on what it is that you want, take notes, review it, write things out. But when Mercury goes back direct, it's time to start making some decisions on some things and to expand your consciousness, you expand your awareness to what's going on in you as well as around you, right? And with Pisces being there, what is it that you're running from? Either you're escaping from something by way of whatever it is that you're overindulging in, or you are sacrificing yourself for something else. So where are we doing these things? Where are we self-sabotaging ourselves? Where are these habits showing up in our life? And that's what this Mercury retrograde in Pisces aspect to the new moon is doing for us. It's helping us bring all these things up. It's shining a light on all of it, illuminating it. So also, we have the Mars and Uranus sextile as well. And that is basically the increase in our consciousness, showing us the things that we have been missing. Like I said, highlighting it. It's also coming through with these enlightenment, these breakthroughs of enlightenment, these aha moments, these things that come up that's going to help you have some discipline as well as maturity in your mentality, right? So it's like we are, with the enlightenment, with the elevated consciousness, we are able to make much more mature decisions. And it's like once we have an understanding that we are responding from our unconscious and subconscious patterns, and we're doing that consciously. Once we understand that and we understand what's actually in the darkness of our subconscious and unconsciousness, then we can start showing up differently consciously. And that's what this is doing, because Uranus brings that God-like knowledge, right? It doesn't take you long to process. It's just instant. That's what Uranus brings. And with Mars being there, Mars is the planet of action, is bringing this sextile Is just allowing it to manifest, allowing it to bloom in a way. Because if you've been doing the work, it's going to come through for you. Also, we had this trine to the North Node in Cancer, and that's healing. That's releasing the things of the South Node and moving towards a more North Node energy. And Cancer is all about healing. It's intuition as well. It's the mother energy. So also with the moon is the ruler of Cancer. So with the moon having this trine there, it's helping us again. Once again, it's illuminating where things need to be released, the past karmic release, right? The pain, the soul expression of pain is being released, and now we're moving more into this healing way of expression, right? The soul expression of that. So I did like a quick little review. If y'all go on my website, y'all can see this, like a little review. Mars and Cap is telling us to take action, but be disciplined and be practical within that. Mercury retrograde in Pisces is inward, but through the mind. So not to take any physical action, just take action here. And when it's time, things you can physically do and show up. And then the Pisces new moon, elevating the God consciousness through meditative and spiritual mind. So it's just a really good time to stay inward and assess what it is that your desires are. Truly get decisive on what it is that you want. Uranus and Taurus, that's us receiving the enlightenment and the consciousness, the God-like energy that we needed to make our decisions when the time comes. And then we're healing and releasing with the Cancer, North Node, Capricorn, South Node energy. So I'm going to stop sharing this. So right now, today we have the sun making a sextile to Mars, right? And so what this is doing today on Monday the 24th, it's a boosting confidence, right? It's a boosting your courage. It's also a great time to finish up projects that you have already began, not necessarily to initiate anything new, but to finish what you've already began. Finish it up, get it completed. You have the energy to do so. Things that you've been putting off, things that have been in review, get it wrapped up. Also, people will become more direct and more assertive today. So in their approach and what they want in their speech, as well as in their actions, people will become more assertive. And also our personal relationships could feel a little bit more warm and have a little bit more charisma added to them with the sun and Mars. Just a very warm energy. It's like the sun is shining on Mars. Mars is the planet of not only action, but it's the planet of sex, right? So how we express ourselves, it could be like some really warm passion that we have with our partners. And Mars being in Capricorn is going to be very grounded and practical, possibly tradition, right? Some type of traditional ways. All right, so on the 25th, we have the moon moving into Aries. So that could be bring impulsive emotions and impulsive actions on things, but just be very cognizant that we are in Mercury retrograde. So it's not a great time to take action. It's a great time to review, reassess, analyze, reflect, relax. Not necessarily the time for action. So also the moon in Aries can bring a lot of passionate feelings. So just be aware that a lot of people could be responding from that space. And then what I wanted to talk about was this T-square that we have. We have a T-square coming on the 26th. And that is between Venus, Juno, which is an asteroid, Jupiter, and Pluto. So Venus, planet of love, money, and all things that bring us pleasure. Juno is the asteroid. It's the marriage archetype asteroid, right? It's relationships. And Jupiter, expansion, higher mind. And then Pluto, transformation. So this T-square is going to be bringing up some tension, right? Some tension in regards to relationships, because we have this opposition with Venus in Aries making an opposition with Juno and Libra, right? Libra is all about partnerships and marriage. Venus is also the ruler of Libra, also with partnerships and marriage, but it's in a sign of Aries, which is not so, it will commit, but not commit for a specific reason or for a look. It will commit on its own terms, right? It will commit within freedom, if that makes sense. So you have Venus in this sign of freedom and passion, making an opposition, which can bring some tension already to an asteroid that's all about marriage and love. So there's going to be trying to find this balance of where the stability and the foundation is. Where do you want to settle? Like, what do you want in regards to these things, right? It's 2020. Twos represent union. Twos represent the balance, right? Partnerships, the higher and the lower self in combination. So 2020 is all about partnering, not just in relationships, but partnering with your higher self, your lower self, your dark and your shadow side, the things that you keep hidden, and your higher mind. How are we relating on this planet? How are we treating the planet? How are we treating ourselves? How are we relating to one another? How are we relating in our business? So that's what all of this is about. It's about that work and home life balance, especially with the Capricorn energy and the Cancer energy with the South Node and the North Node. So that's really the work home life balance that we're really diving into. And this year we move from that, but with this T square, it's really highlighting what it is that you want in regards to your relationships, whether it's friendships, whatever, all types of relationships, because it's making a square, and it becomes a T square with Pluto and Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter in Capricorn is okay. So Jupiter is wild already, but in Capricorn's like, okay, you can be wild and you can be free, but within these confines. Pluto in Capricorn is really like, okay, we're going to transform. It's like we're tearing things down. So we are really in this transformational place of what relating looks like and allowing it to rebuild the structure of whatever it should be. And that's individual to each person. So that's what this T square is bringing us, and it's going to be there for a couple of days. And we also have Venus making just that square to Pluto on the 28th, but at the same time, Mercury is going to be sextiling Uranus. So Mercury is already in retrograde and is going to be sextiling Uranus at the same time this is all going. So it's going to be instant knowledge coming into our minds and understanding what it is that we want, understanding what direction we're trying to go to. Or it could bring instant confusion. It all depends on you. So the last thing we talk about, the moon moving into Taurus on the 28th. So that's just going to kind of stabilize the energy a little bit. You kind of get a little sensual within yourself and kind of calm. And that's pretty much it. So this has been Galactic Gossip for the week of February 23rd all the way through February 29th. This is the last Galactic Gossip for February, y'all. Really quick announcement, all solar returns for Pisces, 20% off. You can hit the link in my bio or the description box below and go to my website and book your reading for your solar return. And I think that's really all I got. Do I have anything else? I don't have anything else. I do have some new services on my website. You all go check those out and see if you are interested in any of those things. Outside of that, that's all I got. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Stay all the way up, keep them vibes up and all that good stuff. And always just be here for the good news, honey.